The Christmas of 2020 is simultaneously different and the same as the Christmases before. It is very different because the things and people that we took for granted are absent from our holiday celebrations this year. It is different because we are in the midst of a global pandemic. We continue our self-isolation, we don't shake hands, we don't hug, we seldom meet face to face with our friends or family members. And yet, this Christmas is also like all other Christmases before 2020. It is the same because we continue to remember and celebrate the mystery of faith that is identical to the same Christmas story we heard in the year before and ever since year one of the Common Era. It is the same because we celebrate God's presence in our midst as we did last year. It is the same because we retell the same Christmas stories we did retell in years before. The story of Christmas that is old and new at the same time is built on three pillars that are present in every Christmas narrative. The pillars of the Christmas story are especially important this year. The first pillar on which the Christmas story is built is about believing what is hard to believe. It is about accepting things that are beyond our comprehension. Think about it. When Joseph was told in a dream by an angel that his fiancée, the beautiful, lovely Mary, whom he loved so much, was pregnant, every fiber of his masculine body was telling him it cannot be so. It cannot be true that my girl, my fiancée, is pregnant and virgin at the same time. And yet, with time, he came to accept what was so hard to believe. The second pillar of Christmas narrative is what we find in the Gospel of Matthew when he speaks of wise and rich men coming from the east, seeking the newborn Messiah, arriving at Bethlehem and sharing from their riches. The story of Christmas is about sharing from the abundance of God's blessings. It is about giving someone else what they may not have. And the third pillar of Christmas story that is the same today as it was in all previous years is about welcoming the stranger in our midst. For when Joseph, Mary, and Jesus discovered that their lives are in danger in Palestine, they had to become refugees. They became immigrants and moved to Egypt for several years. The hospitality, inclusion, and open hearts of their Egyptian neighbors create so important third pillar of Christmas story. These three pillars of believing what is unbelievable of sharing from the abundance of our riches and of welcoming the strangers are more important this year than ever before. In the year of global pandemic, in the year of self-isolation, fear and anxiety, in a very dark time, we need to see and live out these three pillars of Christmas story. We too are called today to believe what might be difficult to comprehend. We are called to believe what the physicians and scientists tell us. We are called to have faith that what we are told by all the medical professionals is true. And like Joseph, we are called to follow that what is so hard to comprehend. In this 2020, more than other years, we who have abundance are called to open our hearts and our wallets, to share from our riches, like the wise magi from the east, with those who have less. For Christmas story is about gratitude and sharing with baby Jesus, who may be your homeless neighbor, who may be your unemployed sister, who may be a single father living on the other side of the street. And finally, the story of Christmas in 2020 is and must be the story of welcoming the strangers, the refugees, and immigrants in our midst. Like the people of Egypt, we are called to open our homes, our neighborhoods, our cities, and our countries to all those babies, mothers, and fathers who seek refuge in our midst. Yes, it is a difficult Christmas. Yes, it has been a difficult, dark year. But as people of faith, we need to remember that Christ is the light that scatters the darkness of night. We need to hear the words that are proclaimed every Christmas morning in churches throughout the world. We need to hear the words from the first chapter of St. John that includes this one powerful sentence: the light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. My friends, sisters and brothers, the light of your faith, the light of the story of Christmas lived in your life, shines in the darkness. You and I have a chance to be that light that scatters the darkness of this very difficult year. By living out the story of Christmas in our lives, we have a chance to be the light that shines in the darkness, and the darkness will not overcome it. Amen.